Hey everyone, and welcome to your May 2022 readings. I decided to change up the scenery since it's just super beautiful out, and also, speaking of change, I changed up the format this month. I might change it back, but this month we are focusing on all love readings across all signs. So that's what we're focused on. Remember that this is a collective reading for your sun, moon, or rising sign, right? So if this particular one doesn't resonate, I would check out your other two signs. Speaking of which, if you're wondering, I don't know, I follow tropical, I follow sidereal, which one? I would say just whichever you resonate with the most. So if you resonate more with sidereal and those associations, then follow the sun, moon, rising that's in that system, right? Or vice versa. So the timestamps will be down below as well. There are links also for how you can book a one-to-one reading with me. Of course, if we're doing collective reading, we can't hit the mark for every single like Aries or Aquarius all the way down, all the way through, right? So if you want something specific that is specific to your situation, I would recommend booking a reading with me personally. The links for that are down below. Also for how to get 20% off and 50% off of a one-to-one 90-minute reading with me. Last thing I'll say, oh yes, cards and cocktails. We didn't do it for the month of April. I know, I just got so busy. So we are doing a cards and cocktails hangout. It's a live hangout on Instagram that I do on Instagram. I might choose to do on YouTube. I still haven't gotten around to deciding whether I want to do it here or not because I have more people that follow me over there versus here. This is brand new, so we'll see. But if you want to stay up on that, follow me over on Instagram. I'm probably most likely going to be doing it either the first weekend of this month, which I know Mother's Day is there, so I might not do it then. I might do it when the moon is in Sag later in the month, which I think is around the 26th, 5th or 6th or 7th, something like that. So again, if you want to stay up on that, follow me over on Instagram. Last thing I'll say is that there are new monthly subscriptions that you can check out over on Patreon, and that's in the description as well, for how you can get ongoing divinatory guidance if you are going through a really stressful period, a transition period, with work, with life, with love, with anything, and you're wanting some like ongoing guidance. There are two options that I would recommend, right? One of them is a monthly subscription for weekly 30-minute readings, right? So it's like tapping in every single week on like what's up, right? And that's either live or recorded. And then the other is for a monthly reading with me for 90-minute reading, and that's either live or recorded. I only have a few spots for the lives, especially just because I need to make sure that I can deliver them. So if you want to get something like that done, feel free to hit me up. Without further ado, please continue on to your readings. Let me know how you like them. If you want me to stay focused on love, maybe we'll just keep that rolling for a little while too. I don't know. I'm still playing around with this channel, so I will talk to you guys next month. Thanks. Bye. Hello Gemini, and welcome to your May 2022 reading. So if you watched the beginning part of this video, I explained that we are changing things up this month. Why? Just because I feel like it. I felt like focusing on love. So we are focusing on love, and I'm pretty excited about it. All right, so let's get into it. If you have any questions, feel free to go back and watch the first part of this video. Hopefully my shuffles are not too loud for y'all. So hope you had a smooth end of the month, given that we were just going through that retrograde, or the retrograde we were going through, well, yeah, retrogrades are starting, but that we went through that eclipse. You know, sometimes those can be a little rough, a little bit rough for some people. So we're going to start by taking a look at what is coming up for you. And then we will take a look at what is coming up for the person of interest. So if you are in a relationship or multiple relationships, I suggest only thinking of one person, right? If you're dating, also same thing. Think of the person that you have the most curiosity, the most pull towards, right? So we're going to find out what's going on with you, what's coming up with challenge and spiritual advice, right? Okay. We're also going to check out what's going on with your internal and external emotional, energetic landscapes, right? Just how that affects us. But first, we're looking into the next row down beneath. We're going to take a look at your person. So, all right. Okay. Interesting. Some fiery advice that's coming through. And then, so this is a little bit new. I haven't done this with you guys before on this channel. I do it in personal readings for people. So we're going to take a look at what's going on under the surface for you. What's going on emotionally, energetically, and just because like those feelings, sometimes subconscious things that are maybe not top of mind for us, are influential, right? They do influence the way that we feel. Okay? And we're also going to take a look at what is happening for you externally. So also what's happening on the top levels, right? On the surface. And how that's affecting things as well. All right, so I'm just going to move these over just a little bit so we can have everything in frame. All right. Right away, starting here, what I'm seeing is that there is a lot of heaviness that's going on in this connection. So again, just reminder, whether you're single, dating, you have multiple people in relationships, this is really just about, you and this particular person, but it's so much heaviness. Like both of these cards of what's going on with the two of you seems like there's a bunch of heaviness, clearly having too much burden. This is you up here, right? Clearly having a lot of burden, feeling like things are really weighted and really heavy, right? Things don't feel light, right? Also right here with the Eight of Cups, we have so much heaviness, right? Like when water is just like when you're weighted with water, right? In that way. Now, notice that even both of you are walking in this direction where it almost feels like there is the consideration of, should I go on with this? Perhaps you have been dealing with some heavy issues, or there's been stuff coming up where you're having a lot of maybe very serious conversations, and feeling a lot of really intense emotions, that it's just started to feel like heavy, right? It's just started to feel a little too much, right? And so I'm just seeing that you guys are both mirroring this experience here. Now, like, it looks like you're moving into the space where, part of the challenge that you're dealing with inside of this experience is having to go within, ask yourself the deep questions, but there's a withdrawal that's happening from your end. And that's causing part of the shift that's occurring here, part of the challenge that's occurring in the experience with the two of you together. And for you personally is the withdrawal, is the going in. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't go within. I think that it's important for us to ask ourselves the big picture questions and tuning into our own inner light and asking, is this what I want? Is this where I really want to go inside of this relationship or relationships in general? Like, how do I want this to look and feel? How is this affecting my life, right? How is this, all of these big questions that when we're zooming out and looking at these things. And the Hermit can also indicate that there is this kind of withdrawal, right? And probably it's needed, right? The only thing about the withdrawal is that sometimes when we withdraw so much, it can feel like the absence of our presence, the absence of our energy and our attention can feel like it almost adds to some of the disruption that's happening in the experience. And then we're looking at where this person is with what's coming up inside of that challenge. Now, so there are a couple of things. Where do I want to go with this first? So normally the Knight of Cups is really moving in this direction of going towards, taking action to move towards the things that we love, the things that we envision, the things that we truly want to have in our experience. When it's in this kind of challenging position, it can sometimes mean the shadow side of how we can be in relationships with emotions, right? How some people at least can be with relationships where it's manipulating emotions, or it's maybe secretive, or there could be some, if you have agreements, stepping outside of those boundaries of the agreements. Another word for could be some infidelity, some stuff like that going on. But or just feeling the desire to escape the harshness of what's going on, the heaviness of what's going on, and so kind of wanting to escape reality. So I don't want to give the impression of like, oh no, this means that they're cheating and they're manipulating and they're this and this. but I'm saying that they're in the shadow aspects of what's happening for them in their internal landscape, in their emotional landscape, right? And this is something, you know, I'd like to be sure that when we are talking about looking into what's happening with the person over there, right, the person other than us, it's kind of like we're getting a peek into their inner world, like looking at a page in someone's journal kind of a thing. It's like, it's, some of this can be a little out of context. So really remember that if they're struggling with some of these emotions, if they're struggling with the wanting to escape or wanting to escape into anything, into vices or into people or into whatever they're doing, or they want to use their emotions to manipulate the situation or whatever it is, or maybe they're feeling overly sensitive and secretive, and you know, and that's their way of withdrawing, that's their way of, you know, the shadow side sometimes comes out when we're trying to deal with our internal landscape. Sometimes we can default to the things that are not necessarily who we would like to be and like to show up as, right? So there's just like a jumbled mix of what's happening, you know, instead of moving towards what they really want, it's kind of like they're like what they're really feeling that they would like to feel. It's almost like their emotional landscape is kind of having them be out of balance with their emotions and probably with their decisions around that, or how they fantasize about being able to step outside of it. You know, sometimes the fantasy world is like that, right? Fantasies are just fantasies sometimes to help us relieve steam. So it could be something like that, but it could be confusing things and creating this also a feeling of withdrawal or a feeling of withholding, a feeling of where are they? They're not fully present. I don't feel them when they're here. So in a certain way, I feel like you guys are both mirroring each other, and it's not like this is uncommon inside of conflict with, you know, dating situations that have gone on for a while, or relationships or whatever, right? But sometimes we go into these cycles with each other and we can mirror. One person pulls away, the other person pulls away, then they're dreaming of like, maybe I should go off and go into this other direction away from this person, and they're not sure, their emotions are cloudy, so that has them feel like they're not totally present with you, has you withdraw away more. So it can be like these kinds of cycles that show up. So that's what I'm seeing, that's what I'm feeling into this, and I really wish that I could give you guys something different. This is certainly a little bit more of a challenging reading for the signs so far, as I'm into them. However, what I see is a lot of fire and brightness that's coming through over here, right? Now, first, before I actually get into this, I would love to look at what's happening here with you. This is all you, right? This has nothing to do with them. So your internal landscape, one of the things that came up for you was the Knight of Pentacles. And then over here, we have the Three of Pentacles. So now this isn't just about your love life. I don't know whether I mentioned that or not. I can't recall. But when we're looking at the inner landscape and the external, what's happening with you externally, we're looking at your whole life. This is the vibe of you and your life, and how these things are probably impacting the connection that's happening here, right? So when we're looking at what's happening internally and externally, I get a lot of like building things, working on things, creating stability, being focused on either learning or teaching or growing and building, either with other people in a community or with your finances, right? We're looking at all of this as earth. Everything to do with earth is what is tangible in this world. It's what is earthly, right? The physical. So that can be finances, it can be resources, it can be our home, but it's focused on this kind of grounding stability, and also sensorially, like this is about our senses as well. So just kind of tuning into that, right? Knight of Pentacles is that slow, steady movement forward. It's the slower of the knights, right? Is still moving forward, right? There's forward movement, but it's kind of like, okay, moving at a pace that is pretty steady, is what I would say. So maybe like, yeah, steady would be the word that I would pull from that. And then we have that's what's going on internally. Internally, it's like you're focused on that steady growth. You're looking for that grounded, steady growth in your life. And this could have to do with your career, your finances, or your stability with your home, right? It's just in life. This is something that's up for you. And then we are taking a look at what is happening externally for you. And it's more building, right? We have the Three of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles is building together with others. It's creating the structure, creating the foundation. It's the architecture of your life that is being built here, and doing that in conjunction with other people. So this could be people that you're collaborating with, or maybe you have roommates, or, you know, maybe you're in a community, maybe you live on land and you guys are building, you know, a community on land. I don't know, but this is all about building and about creating these experiences, right? I feel like the sense that I get when I see this together for you is that I think I come back over here to the 10 of Wands, right? Everything can feel so heavy when you've got a lot going on, and you're building, and you're busy, and you're working, and you're doing all these things, right? You're building your life. Believe me, I can relate, is being in that space. It's almost like there isn't really a whole lot of time and energy, like residual time and energy, to put into creating a connection. And so when you go into it, if the connection itself is also heavy, that can create more of that heaviness, more of that feeling, right? And perhaps this person is feeling kind of neglected, and they're feeling like, maybe I should just go off, right? A lot of the energy that I'm getting with this particular person is they're just kind of like feeling, right? Because we're looking at cups, feeling like, maybe I should just go forth. Maybe I should just, you know, maybe I should just go on. Maybe this isn't, I want to go towards what feels good and what I want, right? And they're not feeling, the sense that I get is, you know, that they're not feeling satisfied. They're not feeling like they're getting the energy and attention and what they need from this experience with you together, right? So that said, we also are looking at what's coming next, like what's coming in, what is also being spoken with your guides, and we'll take a look into this a little bit further as well. However, so what I'm seeing is a lot of fire, right? We have the wands that are coming through. So we've got fire with you, fire with this person. Speaking directly to what's going on with you first, right? I believe that you're being asked to embody your fiery nature, to step back into, not to say that you don't have self-confidence, right? Not saying that at all. More so to step further into embodying yourself, your confidence, and remembering your passions and the things that you are inspired by, right? So the Queen of Wands is actually one of my favorite cards in the entire deck, because, you know, she's just like love and warmth, and like definitely there's that fiery sexuality, right? Just like very embodied, right? She has that self-confidence. She's also got that witchy vibe, right? She's got some magic going. And you can also see the sunflowers here. A lot of times the sunflowers are meant to be about, like, you know, well, first of all, the sunflowers are also associated with the I am, with yourself, with your identity, you know, who you're being. But they're also associated with the bright rays of the sun, brightness, often associated with like warmer weather, when things are green and lush, and, you know, there are sunflowers, right? Just life feeling really good. So stepping into also just remembering for yourself, what are you passionate about? What are the things that you are inspired by? And be led by that, right? And being led by that, I think, will not only help what's going on here, like what you're already working on. It's, if anything, it's just like, why not? It's only just going to further inform what you're creating. And also, I feel that this is going to help you get clarity about what you want to do with this connection here, right? So perhaps the stepping into this has you feel you're sitting in your worth, right? And you're feeling really good and experiencing life in this way. And I think perhaps that can have you it could have you choose to step away from this if it doesn't feel like it's aligned. You know, if when we're in our power, when we're sitting inside of ourselves and we're feeling into our strength, we're feeling aligned as much as we can, you know, because that's a constant process, right? But feeling aligned, feeling clear, feeling strong, feeling, you know, confident, feeling passionate about life, that can often shift our perspective pretty drastically. It can give us a lot of clarity, and sometimes in that clarity you can see if this is something that's workable, how to bring it together. Now, I'm reading this two different ways because I'm seeing the Knight of Wands here. So one of the things that I could say is, like, perhaps you guys might step into your fiery natures, right? So and then it can re-spark and bring things back into this fiery spark, like the sensuality, the sexuality, the everything inside of this connection, right? But, and also, the Knight of Wands is kind of, how shall I put this? The Knight of Wands is charismatic and fiery and looking to new prospects, looking in new directions, very sexual as well, virile, you know, so it's a lot of sexual energy, it's a lot of fiery energy. It's also not here to stay kind of energy. This is the energy of, you know, passionate short periods of time or one-nighters, and then moving on to new prospects, to the next conquest, right? To the next conquest, to the next battle. So I just get the sense that, you know, yes, you two could potentially come into your fire again, and that reignites things for you guys. It just explodes it, right? That's one. However, I do see the possibility, because of how much of this energy here with this person is just other. It's in another place. It's not here in this place. It's elsewhere. They're already considering walking away from the situation. They're already feeling like it's really heavy. They're already kind of in their emotional space. They're already kind of just going like, I don't know, this is heavy. I just think maybe I should go in this other direction. And also the shadowy aspects of the emotional world that we were already talking about, plus this energy, a lot of this just says that they're going to want to exit and experience something that feels light, right? So think about any of the times that you have been in really heavy relationships, or a dating experience even that you've been dating for a while, and it's just gotten really heavy, and you're just like, God, this is just, I need something light. Like, I just want to experience something that doesn't feel heavy, that just feels like a breath of fresh air. And I feel like there's a very strong energy here with that, right? So we want to get a little bit more information about this, and I'm curious about like which of my decks I'm feeling for this. So I'm actually still feeling this deck, so we're gonna work with this deck. All right, so I would like to get a little bit more information about where this is actually going, whether it's moving towards sparking back up, reconciliation, or whether this is moving in different directions, right? So either way, the two of you will be happier for it, right? So that's one thing that I want to say, is that you will both be happier for it. Whether you'll be happier long term, I don't really know. So I'm feeling that. I'm feeling like there's a couple of more. No, yeah, I'm feeling like 3 for this, for us to get a sense of what's actually happening here. Okay. And then let's see. I want to know more about what this is about so we can get some clarity on what is happening. Let's get a better sense of what's happening with their internal emotional landscape and what they're considering. I feel like this is, I would like some more clarity on that. So we're going to take 2 with this one here. Okay. And let's see, is there anything else that I'm feeling really curious about? No, I think that's it. That's actually where, like, if we feel like we want to take a deeper look after we see what those cards have to say, then we'll do that. As we have been doing, what part of what is staying the same is we are going to be looking at the God and Goddess cards. So remember that we are really looking at, if it's in your belief structure to believe in deities and gods and goddesses, then these are the homies that have your back. If not, then consider that they are archetypes of the yin and yang energy, the masculine and feminine energy, the polarity of energy that exists in the universe, that exists within all of us. Not talking about gender. I'm not talking about identity. So please, let's be aware of that, right? So we're going to take a look at that. That is the goddess, and we're going to take a look at the god, or we could say yang, right? So take a look at what's coming up here. How trippy the sun is starting to go down a little bit here, and I love how my my cloth has just turned super beautiful deep royal blue. Okay. So we're also going to get a sense of what is occurring, or what your ancestors, what your guides, the ones that are like your personal counsel that are around you all of the time, what they have to contribute. I'm really loving this deck more and more and seeing it as a direct voice, because yes, we're getting spiritual advice and we're taking a look at that on one end, but this is overall just what their straight up message to you is that isn't directed by my asking a question, right? We're also going to take a look at what's happening with your shadow aspect, right? So what I mean by that, I know that the words shadow work gets way overused these days, so that is not what we're looking at really here is like the blind spots, the places where we trip ourselves up, right? And then we're going to also get some information from the runes as well. So all right, so I'm going to continue this reading over on Patreon. That's where you can find this, and the links for that are down below. Again, just remember, if you want 20% off, 50% off of a one-to-one reading with me, or you want a subscription for weekly 30-minute readings, either live or recorded, and also monthly subscriptions are available. Those are all on Patreon. The links for that are all down below. So have a fantastic month. I know this is a little bit heavy. I know that it's a little bit hard, but I think that really embodying that brighter, fiery, passionate part of yourself is what's going to really help you see your way through this, right? So we're going to get deeper into all of the advice that's coming through that it's going to be helpful for moving through this month overall and also through this situation. I wish you a lot of ease and clarity as you move through this month. So I'll talk to you next month. Thanks, Gemini. Bye.